I've always dreamed of being rich and famous, but sadly those scratch-off tickets aren't working out. In the meantime, I've learned that it really is possible to fake it till you make it, by making some savvy decisions. These 10 tips will help you fool people into thinking you're rich until you're actually a star. Number 10. Become a travel writer. I've always wanted to travel the world, not in a frugal, staying in a student hostel with 20 other people kind of way, but in a 5-star hotel or spa kind of way. Turns out you can do just that for free by becoming a travel writer. New upscale hotels will often give out free rooms in exchange for a write-up about their hotel, because they need good publicity and the rooms are already there. Some successful travel bloggers get their vacations completely paid for, or at least their lodgings. Some companies may even comp tickets to local attractions during your stay, or offer free meals in restaurants to make sure they get high praise in your review. But if building a following as a travel writer is too much, you can just travel in the off-season. Traveling off-season is another great way to travel, like the 1%, without paying like them. For example, an African safari costs about 40% less in the off-season. Safaris can be pricey, so going in wintertime can help you avoid roaring like a lion when you see the bill. Number 9. Airport VIP Pass. Being able to skip queues at the airport is society's way of saying you're important. But that privilege can be bought for a relatively inexpensive price. For $179, you can zip by the tired masses waiting in line to go through the tedium of security. When buying the pass, officials will do a background check on you, along with an in-person appointment to ensure you're not actually a threat. The TSA also has another program where you can spend $85 to keep your shoes on at the security gate. Wonderful if you want to make sure no one steals your designer shoes, or kind of looks like designer shoes, whatever. Number 8. Clothes that fit well. And while those red-bottom shoes are nice, when it comes to clothing and accessories, big designer brands are actually less impressive than good tailoring. Nothing says I bought this off the rack like a suit or dress that doesn't fit you well. A designer label won't impress anyone if the sleeves are a bit too long or short, or the clothing sags in the wrong places. You're better off buying a reasonably priced, durable outfit and paying a little extra for good tailoring. Can't afford a good tailor? The other alternative is to spend a lot of time trying on clothes until you find an outfit that fits like it was made just for you. Department store brands are machine cut, and especially with women's sizes, they're sometimes partial to vanity sizing. As a result, off-the-rack clothing sizes can vary widely between brands, and even different styles of the same brand, so you should try on at least 3 different sizes. Even if you love a particular piece, if you can't afford to have it tailored and it doesn't fit ideally, put it back on that rack and move on. Number 7. Read a lot. People who seem knowledgeable are always more memorable, and if you're really well-spoken and well-informed, you may just give people the impression you went to an Ivy League college instead of the School of Hard Knocks. But you can't fake knowing what you're talking about, so it's important to read widely in a variety of subjects, both fiction and nonfiction. Aside from books, you should keep up with current affairs, but when reading news online, make sure it's from a reputable source. Nothing will give you away faster than repeating something from a clickbait headline. You should also read the whole story, because if you just read the headline, it may be obvious when you open your mouth. There's nothing worse than trying to sound smart and revealing how much you don't know. Once you're sure you're well informed, bring up topics you're well read on in conversation. Number 6. Go to expensive clubs and drink soda. If you want to look rich, you have to go where the rich go. Aside from the swanky hotels like I discussed earlier, rich people also like to hang out in expensive bars, clubs, and restaurants. Often you can get into these places for free or for a small cover charge, but once you start ordering, the bill tallies up fast. Remember that to look rich, you don't need to impress everyone with the receipt you sign. In fact, you should never try to impress people by spending money on them. The rich don't feel the desperate need to do this. Being there in your well-tailored clothes gives the impression that you're wealthy already. Once there, you can order inexpensive appetizers to munch on while networking with the movers and shakers. Another simple solution is to just order sodas all night, far cheaper than alcohol, and you'll fit in because people will assume it's mixed with alcohol. Best of all, you can save on the cab home by driving yourself. These are usually complimentary at certain high-end places, and you'll still be sober enough to think straight if you happen to get the opportunity to talk business with a billionaire. Number 5. Be well-groomed. Both men and women should look as well-groomed as possible, and if you're a guy, that means you might want to use makeup and skin cleansers. Rich men don't just assume their skin will look fine with a little soap, water, and aftershave. They use cleansers and cosmetics made for men. And no, I'm not being paid by any cosmetic company to say this. In fact, some men now even wear makeup. If you can't afford high-end lines, some drugstore brands offer cleansers and moisturizers for men. Everyone should avoid simple giveaways that you're not wealthy, like dirty, ragged nails. A nail file costs less than $1 and can be used to even up nails and dig dirt out from under them. Also, keep hair neatly trimmed and styled. Even if it's not a $100 haircut, your do should still look recent and well kept. Number 4. Buy watches that look the part. If you're going to splurge on a wear-everywhere accessory like a watch, buy quality, but don't spend so much that the bill eclipses your student loan debt. There are many Swiss watch brands that offer superior quality and look similar to expensive name brands, but at a fraction of the cost. Tudor, for instance, is actually owned by Rolex, and the brand does a good job at creating pretty good replica of Rolexes with a different name and a much smaller price tag. Compare the Tudor Black Bay to the Rolex Submariner. Both have waterproof cases, with the Submariner being waterproof up to 300 meters and the Black Bay up to 200 meters. So unless you're planning to go diving more than 200 meters underwater, there's not a huge difference. The Black Bay also has a stainless steel, unidirectional, rotatable bezel and a domed dial. Just look at the details and you'll instantly realize Rolex owns Tudor. From the dotted dial to the watch bezel, which look almost identical to the snowflake hands, which also evoke the image of the Submariner. Best of all, it's 10 times cheaper than the Submariner. The same goes with the white gold GMT Master 2 and the Black Bay GMT. But if you think you'll achieve this just by buying a fake Rolex, then think again. The worst thing you can do is buy a fake. A genuinely rich person who knows their watches can easily spot a fake, and you'll gain much more respect from them by owning a real Swiss watch. Also, your genuine real watch can always be resold. Number 3. Buy relatively cheap sports cars. I always thought sports cars like a Porsche or a Mercedes were out of my budget. But it turns out some of them are not as expensive as you'd think when sold on the second-hand market. The Porsche Boxster, introduced in the late 90s, has a sleek, low-to-the-ground look and the impressive Porsche logo to go with it. Some of these are sold as used for as little as $6,000. So as long as you don't want a brand new car, you can get an expensive model at an affordable price, if you can live with the fried egg-looking headlights. The one drawback to the Boxster. Then there's the Mercedes S-Class, which was updated in the 90s before other Mercedes models, which is a surprisingly good deal as well. Because of this eye to the future, the W220 model is more modern than other 15-year-old cars, and one of the best choices for those who want to ride in luxury. It's surpassed only by the Rolls-Royce and Maybach design, and those are definitely out of my price range. Engines range from 201 horsepower to 631 horsepower, and if those horses are on a budget, used versions of this car start at about $10,000, which is great because then I'll have money left over for the speeding ticket I might get testing out the 631 horsepower engine. Number 2. Go yachting. Who hasn't wanted to brag about their fabulous weekend yachting? Unfortunately, yachts are expensive to own and even to rent. These prices can leave you saying not to the yacht. It can cost as much as $52,000 a week to rent a yacht, and that's on the low end. Bigger, more luxurious boats can cost in the 6 figures for weekly rentals. I don't think I can manage that by scrounging around in my couch cushions. But the good news is that the Yacht Week allows you to take a 7-day yacht trip in the Mediterranean, Thailand, or the British Virgin Islands for only around $750 per person. They also offer trip planning guidance, and they hold the most epic parties going. Party on inflatables in a donut made of yachts, and litter your social media with posts of you popping champagne for a fraction of the cost your friends think you burned buying that boat. Number 1. Uber for jets. Private jets are expensive to buy or rent, but if you're a member of Jet Suite, you may be able to fly on one for considerably less than their daily deals. And again, I wasn't paid to promote any of these services. I just thought you'd like to know that the post you saw on Instagram of that person flying in a jet might have only cost around $500 each way. Then there's JetSmarter, also known as the Uber for private jets, an on-demand service between London and other parts of Europe. It fills seats on jet planes when there's low demand. One ticket from London to Paris on a Citation CJ3 can cost as little as $750, while one to Geneva costs about $1,000. That's incredibly cheap when you consider that first-class tickets are sometimes multiples of that price. It's definitely cheaper than the 6 or 7 figures buying a private jet would cost. With those prices, if anyone asks, I'll fly like a G6. What tips have you used to look more financially fit than you actually are? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and subscribe, clicking that bell icon to never miss a new video. Thanks for watching.